In March of 2015, I came on a trip to Kenya with friends, and I call it my peer pressure trip because honestly, I really didn't have any desire to go to Kenya. I didn't even really know where Kenya was. I knew it was in Africa, but I didn't know east, west, I didn't know where it was. So after a few years of these friends just kind of pestering me about it, I said, okay, I will go to Kenya. This is a one and done because there's like 50 countries that I'd rather go to, honestly, like anywhere in Europe. Part of it is that I really am not, I don't love heat, dust, and bugs. I mean, even right now, I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, and the wind is blowing, but I really am kind of a cool weather type of girl. So you can imagine that I must have really loved Kenya to keep coming back. But this was 10 years ago, as of the recording of this video. I got on a plane. And it was really interesting because we landed at night, which most teams do when they're coming from the US. We landed at night and it was this big warehouse. And I felt like it was a cattle call or something like that. Like it was very out of my comfort zone. And I was a little terrified because we were coming off the plane. We were hot. We were tired. We had to wait in this really long visa line. And back then you didn't do any sort of visa or authorization online. You just handed them a crisp $50 bill to get into the country. So we go through, we get our luggage, we walk out, and I walk into the arms of Christine. And she was shy and she was a little intimidated as well. We got on a bus in a matatu, and I literally thought, I'm gonna die in this country. Like this is so crazy. And it was just straight out of the movies, right? We went to a hotel. Well, there were rats, and the shower head, I was convinced I was going to be electrocuted for sure in the shower. And it was a Friday night. There was a disco right outside our window, and it was so loud. I mean, I literally felt like I was in the disco, and it, 2 a.m., it's still going. And I thought, what have I done? I'm not going to sleep. I'm hot, I'm gonna electrocute myself in the shower, and I'm gonna be eaten by rats. Like that was my first thought when I came to Kenya. And so I wanna set that up for you because at that point I really should have been like, oh my gosh, I'm out of here. This is just not something that I signed up for. But the next day, the sun arose and we went and had breakfast, and then we were supposed to get on a plane to fly to Kisumu in Western Kenya. We got to the airport and the plane had left 45 minutes early without us. And I thought, what is this country? This is so crazy. What airline leaves 45 minutes early without 8 people who are on the manifest? I mean, it was just, anyway. Then we landed in Western Kenya, again at sunset. So by this point, been in the country 24 hours, and all of it's been travel, and we had to wait in the airport for 5 hours for the next plane to Kisumu. But I remember lying on the floor up at the airport with our legs against the wall because we were all so swollen from the travel. And I remember my friends saying, Heidi, what is the meaning of life? And I literally can visualize looking under the chairs because we were laying on the floor and looking sideways and saying, love. The meaning of life is love. And that concept, that idea would come in huge over the next couple of weeks that I was in Kenya. So we finally got to Western Kenya. There was a guest house called Eshmuli in Western Kenya, and it's in a compound that was built by Anglican nuns. We get in bed and there's bugs, and the pillow is about this deep. It's really flat. But I thought, okay, now it begins. And the next morning, I remember waking up and thinking, I'm in Kenya. I'm in Africa. And I'm not a well-traveled person, or I wasn't at that point. I am now, but I really didn't, like I said, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. We went to church on these grounds, and I was sitting in the church, and everybody was kind of singing, and we were told the church started at 9. Nobody rolled in till 11. Apparently church starts late, but airlines leave early. And I just remember sitting there, and it was so beautiful, and music was beautiful. And I looked over and I took a picture, and I took that picture, and it was as if a veil dropped I knew that everything in my life had led up to this point, and that the people that I was meeting would be significant in my life, and that this was a mission. This was a calling for me. And then I freaked out because I honestly was just like, I have 2 kids, 9 and 11 at the time. And what am I thinking? And this is clear on the other side of the world. It takes 24 hours to get here. I don't know what I'm doing. And as I went through the country for the next couple of weeks, I looked for really kind of signs and God winks telling me what I was supposed to do. And what I saw was that I needed to be with families, that I needed to work with families, and that there was a solution to help families get out of poverty, and that I needed to find it. So it was really a family-focused mission. I got home from that trip and I cried for 8 weeks. And then on July 12th, 2015, I got out of the shower and I heard a voice say, "Go start a group on Facebook called 100 Humanitarians, and I'll let you know why." And I was in a towel. And so I spoke back to the voice and I said, "Can I get dressed first?" And the voice said, "Just go do it." So I literally started this organization on Facebook from my phone, and then started asking questions and saying, "What is this? What is this supposed to be? Why 100 Humanitarians?" And the answer came back in a question. And the question was, what is the power of 100 people working together on any project in the world to create positive change? So my question is always, do you want to go to Kenya? Or I ask, what is your Kenya? What is the problem that you're here to solve?